Hey, what's up, everybody? It is your boy Dave Noodles, and we are on the Type 88 show, where we talk to people about how they turn their dreams into reality. And this guy right here is no stranger to checking things off his bucket list. I literally saw him yesterday running the show at Pier 17 with an amazing squad of people making a shopping experience for thousands of people. And his story is something. I'm grateful to have him here. Got McCoy in the building.
Thank you, Dave.
What's
I
up,
appreciate it, man.
Welcome.
Thank you so much for the intro, man. The warm intro there. Now I got to preface. I was not running the show. There's other people running the show, but we're doing our thing, making the shopping experience a lively, a personable, and make it feel like a lot more than just some merchandise.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Making a real experience out of it, given the setup with it, the energy that's around it all. It really puts things into a different perspective than going to a regular merch booth at a regular concert and just having some guy throw you a shirt and say, "All right, enjoy the show, get out of here."
Yeah.
But
So shout out to the whole team.
Shout out to the whole team.
The team
Shout out
was
to the
making
whole
the dream
team.
work.
That's right. Yeah.
What a journey it's been for you. Maybe for anyone who doesn't know, where are you from?
Yeah, I'm from Iowa, the middle of nowhere, the middle of the United States, a flyover state. It's nothing spectacular, but it's a really, I guess I'll preface this. When I was growing up, I always wanted more, and I always dreamed of more, and wanted to get out of there. And Iowa's a flyover state. There's nothing to do in Iowa, right? If you're born and raised in Iowa, most people end up spending their whole life in Iowa, right? And hardly getting outside of there. And it's comfortable. It's easy. Minimum wage there is still $7.25, and there's people there that are living off $10, $12 an hour. Rent's $400 or $500. It's slower paced. And as a kid, I always wanted to scurry out of there. I wanted to scram out of there, and I did. I got out of there pretty fast, and which is a blessing, and super thankful for it. But looking at things in hindsight now and looking back at it, it's like I don't think I really would have wanted to grow up kind of anywhere else. As weird as that might sound, and even for me to say right now, it's it was a great place to grow up. Great community, great supportive people. We were talking about moms earlier. Super thankful for my mother and for my father too, my whole family. But I always dreamed I needed a little bit more. Iowa. If you're growing up in Iowa and you're going to spend your life in Iowa, you're either going to get into agriculture, you're going to get into maybe banking, not like finance out here in New York, but like working at the call center for Wells Fargo or something like that, right? Or insurance. We've got a big insurance community out there. So none of those things interest me. I kind of wanted to, kind of needs a creative environment to be in. And was able to make my way out to Los Angeles and just get to it,
What a journey. So what was kind of your first, cause here you are, you're in this amazing small town. What I like about small towns and knowing people and everyone knowing you, it's sentimental. You connect. But I could also see the need to be like, you may go on Instagram and be like, oh wow, this is happening here, this is happening there.
Exactly.
I want a piece of this too. I want to try this. I want to try this food over here.
Yeah.
So it's good to get that homegrown culture and then take that energy, because I remember when we met, we instantly connected.
Yeah.
And we were talking about family and where we grew up and stuff like that. I was like, he moves fast, but when he sits with you, he really cares and he learns, and he really cares about the details and certain things. So I think that was great that you grew up there.
Yeah.
Definitely And here you are, now you're taking aesthetics of clothing, which is such a way for people to express themselves and say how they feel and how they want to communicate with their world and their brand. And here you are helping artists all over doing it.
Thank you. Yeah. I started my first brand actually when I was still living in Iowa. It's called Human. I still run it to this day and everything, but it's kind of it's a little bit on the back seat right now as we're making these other strives. But I started Human in Iowa, and at first, in kind of small town areas and stuff like that, anybody that's kind of on the creative side or kind of like the artsy kind of out there side, it's a little out of the ordinary, right? And when things are a little out of the ordinary in small towns, it doesn't necessarily always fit in. Some people might think it's the coolest thing in the world. Some other people might just, what is this? What's this guy trying to do, man? Go to school, get a job, cool, whatever, do your thing. But so I started back in Iowa, and at first there was very little support, but I was able to kind of I was styling, or at that point in time, I just thought I was sending out care packages to people, right? I'm like you're saying, I'm on the Instagram, I'm seeing this food over there, I'm seeing this celebrity over there, I'm seeing the world, right? And so I just started messaging as many people as I could, trying to get in contact with everybody, and I started sending them my clothes, and then they would wear it, and then, oh shoot, this person back in Iowa at my school also listens to this guy's music or whatever. Okay, now it's kind of cool, Oh, all right, now it's a little flavorful. So started building up an actual little base in Iowa of supporters and stuff, and I would do pop-ups. That there's no the culture for this sort of industry, the creative arts industry, the fashion, the music, the hip hop, just that whole culture has it's not there. It's just not there. And it was a cool experience being able to provide it for the people that wanted to have a taste of it, right? And we had no idea what we were doing necessarily, right? I had never really gone out and seen what it actually was in cities like New York or LA or anything like that. And so I ended up starting to do little pop-up shops. I would rent out a space at their local mall, and I just throw on. I just make it an event. And we started getting lines. We began really having cool experiences doing that, and that's actually what supported me to make my move out to Los Angeles. I had one kind of last hoorah pop-up, and I basically was able to take the funds from there and just kind of move myself out to Los Angeles area, where we really started diving headfirst into the whole thing.
That's amazing, because when I was the early part of running my brand, pop-ups were everything too, and I've done hundreds. I've connected with people, and it was the stuff I learned from selling cookware, which when I was in college, that's what I was doing before I started my brand.
Wow. But
I learned from there, you give the host a gift, right? So someone would be like, hey, come to my show. So I would come, I would give the host a bunch of gifts, and they would be like, hey, you got to come back.
Yeah.
I don't know what they thought I was going to do or not, but they were like, come back. We got shows this. And before I knew it, I was getting connected with people doing dozens of shows.
Wow.
A show every week. Wow. And it was literally paying my bills.
Yeah.
So the pop-ups were a big thing for you too. And you did this last hurrah in Iowa.
Yep.
And that led you to LA. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's just a huge pickup. Like, so how do you even decide LA? And then how long of a plan was that? Or was it sporadic? Because I feel like there's got to be some strategy.
Look, the strategy side, at that time, I don't necessarily know. but so I guess when I was like 9 years old, I was lucky enough, my family, we took a little trip to Los Angeles for a 4 days, 5 days sort of deal. And, Los Angeles at that point in time was a lot different than what it is today. I mean, still the culture and the community and everything is there, but the aesthetics of it and everything, and Hollywood itself was a lot different in early 2000s than it is now. And when I was there, I just knew, I was like, holy cow, this is what, this is so cool. This is what I want. This is what I've been longing for, right? And so ever since really like 9 years old, I've been saying, I think I'm going to live in Los Angeles. I'm going to live in Los Angeles. So I've known since a fairly young age that's where I wanted to go. And I guess, yeah, so that's really what the driving factor and the driving force was there. And also the industry I was doing, I knew through, most of the care packages and the styling stuff that I'm doing, I'm sending it all to these celebrities or these musicians in Los Angeles. If only I was in Los Angeles, I could go make that delivery. They could see me face to face. I could, I could build a real relationship this way, right? And but being stuck in Iowa, you just long for it. You just dream for it, and finally, when I had the actual opportunity where I had the real funds to be able to go do this, I pulled the trigger, and I'm extremely lucky. It's actually kind of a wild story how I actually made the move. So I knew the year that I was going to do it, but I didn't know how I was going to get there and all the things that were going to happen. But I was getting to the point in my life where I was like, I've got to make the jump. I have a little bit of motion to me right now. I've got people out here. I know if I really want to do this, I've got to go like within these next 8 to 10 months sort of deal. And it was early, it might have been actually late December, early January. My brother's in town for holiday break and everything. And we're, there's a skiing hill, not a mountain, a hill in Iowa called Seven Oaks. And my brother and I, Mason, I've got two older brothers, but Mason, one of them, he and I were going to Seven Oaks to go skiing. And we're in the car, I still have videos of us like listening to the music on the way to the ski hill, getting out to the mountains and stuff, and or not the mountain, the hill. But once we got there, we spent all day there, and it was one of my final runs down the hill. And there's some snowboarders that, I'm a skier, they're snowboarders, and the internal little beef between us and stuff like that. And the whole day we've been going back and forth down the hills. And so it's the final run. I look at my brother, I go, I'm gonna go backwards and I'm gonna dust the snowboarders. I'm gonna get down there so fast I'm gonna do it backwards. He's like, whatever. So I ended up sending it backwards, and I'm going 30, 40 miles per hour down this hill backwards. I get down to the bottom of it. I gotta pop my skis around, to face forward. And so I'm spinning them around, still going quite fast, and my left ski gets stuck underneath a big ice patch. But my body keeps spinning. And so as I twist, but my left leg doesn't twist, I spiral fracture from my knee down to my ankle. And so, I'm screaming, I'm losing it. Snow patrol people come rolling on up. They sled me out to the medic tent. They're not properly equipped to handle anything like this. They have my brother take my car and drive it up onto the hill. They carry me into the car, and my brother just shoves a glove in my mouth, and we just drive to the hospital. Of course, I'm in small town Iowa. The nearest hospital's 30, 40 minutes away, and there's like 2 people working inside of the hospital, and there's 4 people already in hospital beds. So, and my leg is like just dangling.
Wow.
Nobody's able to come help me get out of the car, so my brother's got to shove another glove in my mouth and tell me to hold on. He yanks me out of the car into a wheelchair and rolls me in, and later that day I ended up getting into an ambulance and going down to the main city hospital and stuff, where they performed some quick surgeries, and
wow.
the surgeries actually took a left turn, and then they had to do some wild stuff to my leg, but I was in the hospital for a couple of weeks there with this leg issue. This is, by this point, mid to early January, and I had already done the pop-up where I collected a pretty good amount of funds, pretty good amount of money, and as I'm in the hospital, I'm seeing some. They used to be local photographers in Iowa, and they had recently moved to Los Angeles, maybe 8 months to a year prior, and they started posting, "Oh, hey, we have an open room. We're subleasing our room." Now, I don't know what's going through me as I'm 2 weeks into a hospital bed and I've got a dangling leg and but I was like, I'm gonna make this work. I need to get out there. It was a spot in Santa Monica. They were asking, they were subleasing it from a friend, and they were way below market rate. Like, I was not going to find a better deal.
Yeah.
And also I was a little ignorant to my injury, and I was, saying to everybody, "Oh, I'm gonna be up and walking in a couple months. This isn't gonna stop me. This isn't gonna hold me down or anything." And I ended up, while in the hospital, I ended up sending them a security deposit on Venmo, and I said, "Hey, I'm taking this room, and I'm gonna come out there," and that I had sent them I sent them about 3 months worth of rent before I was actually able to be healthy enough to where I was on a boot and crutches, and I was out of the hospital at this point for probably about 2 months, and doing physical therapy all the time, and just rehabbing the leg, and I could crutch around, I could kind of waddle on my boots still, and my brother was back in town, and I had asked my brother, "I think it's time. We're gonna pack my bags in my car, and I need help driving out to California." And a crutches, boot, might have given my family a week notice type of deal. I mean, they knew I wanted to do it, but obviously not in this state. It's like, wow. But I couldn't. There was something there where I had to go. I couldn't really keep affording to send them rent without living out there.
Yeah.
And then too, they're just. I know I'm not in the best position. I know it might be a little crazy or wild, but I've got to do this. I just got to go. I can't keep laying here. And winters in Iowa are tough, Dave. They're nasty. They're I mean, New York winters too. They're not fun. You get down. Seasonal depression hits me.
So this was January still? Right?
This would have been
or March.
February, March time.
Yeah.
March time. Yeah, and.
God, so you were paying rent even when you weren't there because you knew that was the spot, and the deal was they gave you an offer you couldn't refuse.
Exactly, and I had told him, I was like, "Yo, I'm in the hospital. I'm gonna get out there. I'm sorry, you're not gonna have a roommate for a little bit, but enjoy the extra space, I guess."
Gotcha.
But save that for me, and so my brother and I ended up doing just a 24-hour straight drive, basically. Or I guess it's like probably, it's about 22-hour drive.
Wow.
He helped me pack all my bags. We packed up I had a little Mazda sedan. We stuffed it with as much clothes and sewing equipment and, all that stuff that I could, and drove out there, crutched into the apartment. I said, "I'm here."
Wow.
And that was the move getting from Iowa to LA. So that, strategy wise, it really wasn't all there and strategic. I just, but passion, dreaming, and feeling wise, I knew that this is what I needed to do. I knew this is going to be what cements me and pushes me into the right direction, and it was wild, a little wild, but yeah.
That's amazing. That's something else, man. These moments happen where they're just so extreme, and you're like, well, I'm here. I'm still here.
Yeah.
And I can make this choice. I can still feel something.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you throw these... I wouldn't even say a Hail Mary, because you saw this early as a kid, but it was just like, wow, if I'm still here, and even after this crazy break, and sometimes you just got to really just bet on yourself, and you did it.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Thank you, David. Yeah, I like that, the bet on yourself thing, because if you would have asked anybody at that point in time, they would have told me, no, don't go. You
gotta
know,
wait for the time. Gotta wait till you're good. Yeah.
And Dave, in life, like, there's always something wrong, right? There's always something good, but there's always something bad. The yin and yang. You know, there's always, you can always find the excuse to not make something happen. You know, to not make something work. And at that point in time, I could have kept using my leg as an excuse to not make something work. But, you know, I went on Google and I found another physical therapy that was in the Santa Monica area that accepted my insurance. And I said, well, that's not, you know, I can go right there and I can do it, right? I just got to get out there. It's going to take me 22 hours to drive there. And you know what? The next day I can go back and do my physical therapy and keep getting my leg better, whatever it is, you know? So I couldn't take much more anymore at that point. I just had to get out there, and I did. But then once I got out there, it was like, well, now what?
Yeah. So you have your brand. Are you making your items, or are you getting them manufactured?
So at that time, it was both.
Both. Okay.
Yeah, at that time, I was doing a lot of sewing. I was doing a lot of like real hands-on. I'd make my own patterns. I would cut out my own fabric. A lot of times what I'd do is just go to like Goodwill or Salvation Army or whatever and buy denim and buy blankets and buy big coats, things that had lots of mass to them, right? And then I'd deconstruct it all, and that would be my fabric. That would be my base, right? And so then that's kind of really what I was doing that, but I was also doing. I was still using a lot of Iowa screen printers and stuff like that to screen print a lot of my clothes. But now, you know, the shipping stuff's kind of annoying. So yeah.
But now, here you are, though. You got to LA, which is popping.
Yeah.
Like, so
yeah.
I know as someone who makes merch, gets merch done, I make most of it myself.
Yeah.
But when it comes to manufacturers, if it's not overseas, it could be right in LA. There's so much happening in LA. It's literally, you picked a wonderful place to go to cook up merch.
Absolutely did.
So here you are now, and like, there's Fairfax, probably not too far from you. Like, that's like a street where heads like walkway of
streetwear, fashion, merch, love. Yeah, man.
It's just so cool. So here you are. You're already inspired. You're already making stuff. So it's not like you're going there for the answer. You have the creative bug, clearly. You've been bit by it. And now you have all this new access.
Absolutely.
So that must have been fun for you.
It was.
But how do you navigate that? Because I know you're starting, you kind of have to get your chops up. Because I remember when I started my brand, collabs wasn't easy.
No.
Because it's like, who is this
random
guy?
Yeah.
What have you done?
Yeah.
What do you have? Who's worn it?
Yeah.
And if there aren't any pages in that book, it's like, how do you do it? So clearly you were doing some really cool stuff in Iowa. You were selling out of pop-up shops enough to, you know, get to LA. And I love how fearless you are in terms of messaging people. It's like, we literally have this opportunity at our fingertips. There's not a guarantee they're going to respond, but I love how you said you consistently wrote to people to try to get them in the stuff. Yeah.
You know, I guess that there's multiple things to kind of go off that, Dave. So I guess the first thing, like, when I first got to LA, I was actually there for 4 days, and then COVID lockdown happened. So then all the stores closed, right? And all the businesses closed.
Okay, what a time.
And so it you know, a lot of that figuring out, it began to happen kind of over time. So my roommates at that point in time, they were big time photographers, but event photographers for like parties, weddings, concerts, things like that. Well, all those got canceled, right? And so now they're in a tough position. And now what I thought I was going out there to do and get connected into the Fairfax Melrose industry, the downtown fashion district industry, all that stuff. Well, now all that's a little weird because COVID just happened. When LA first went on lockdown, it was I mean, similar to here in New York, it was strict, right? It was no. If you're a business, you're closed. You know, and so I was just kind of trying to make things work. I really like just the pure grit, grind, hustle of just trying to, honestly, to get the next dollar, to be able to make my life work, be able to make the next week, you know, be able to make it tomorrow. And so it was a lot of hustling, even while on crutches, you know, just getting it done, moving around, figuring things out. And I had an opportunity actually through an Instagram post of a fashion designer who had posted, "Hey, I'm looking for interns, assistants, and stuff like that right now." Because, you know, COVID, a lot of physical stores shut down, but over COVID, a lot of online businesses really started booming. And this designer at that point in time, was happening to him. And so I ended up getting an opportunity to go intern with him. And I guess let me back up a couple weeks to this point. A couple weeks before that, my original roommates, they had to end up moving back to Iowa because there was stuff going on with their health issues. That they you know, COVID was in full effect. There was no gigs for them, and Iowa was a pretty open place still. So they were able to go back to Iowa and still work and build their life and stuff like that. So they went back to Iowa. Now here I am, struggling already to figure out my own half of rent and figuring out how to live out there. But now I've got a whole apartment that I've got to take care of. And, I'm messaging, I go back to the Instagram thing, start messaging everybody that I know on Instagram that are also fashion designers that are in my space, that I might have already previously connected with. And I start messaging everybody, "Hey, you want to come visit me in LA? Hey, you want to come visit me in LA?" You know? And sure enough, this dude, Steven, he ends up coming out and visiting me. He was buying a round trip at first, but then he gets to the airport and there was something wrong with his flight that basically made him have to cancel that flight and then use his credit to get a one-way to come out to LA. So now he's out in LA on a one-way. I ended up scoring this internship like a few days before he got there. And while I'm at this internship, they ended up asking me, "Hey, Miller, is there you know anybody else in your space that's similar to you, works like you, that also wants to come in and do this?" And, you know, I'm like, "Yeah, I think I know a guy." And so I go back to my apartment. I'm like, "Hey, Steve, you're coming with me tomorrow. You know, let's go." And Dave, I gotta preface this. This is, I'm a kid from Iowa. Steve's a kid from Rochester, New York, right? Upstate New York. Like, we're both smallish towns. Like, this person that we're interning for is living in a crazy mansion in the Encino Hills, and he's got, you know, McLarens, Rolls Royces, right? All the fancy stuff. So like, we've never experienced anything like this, right? And we're working out of the house, right? Like he turned the house into what they call an atelier, basically just a big fashion creative space where he had a bunch of seamstresses and seamsters inside of like the whole garage. It was a massive garage, you know, and just the whole place was a fashion house basically. And so we get there and he actually ends up basically having us first be runners. And so this is actually what kind of begins opening my eyes to being able to navigate and figure out the fashion industry, the districts in the Los Angeles area for all the fashion stores, the materials, the shops, you know, everything under the sun. And so I'm doing this Steve and I are doing this for a little while, and then they are trying to be like, "Okay, well, you guys are doing a really good job. We want to hire you guys full time." And Steve kind of chimes in. He goes, "I don't know if you guys know this, but I don't live out here. I live in New York."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Okay, well, would you be willing to move out here? You know, we'll give you the position. Move out here. Seems like you stand at Miller's. You can stay at Miller's. Like, move out here. Let's make this work." Steve's like, "Yeah, give me give me 30 days. I'll be right back. So he goes, spends a couple weeks with his family, packs his car. He and a buddy make the drive down. They ended up moving in full time, or Steve ended up moving in full time with me and took over the other room. And
wow.
Yeah. And then.
So you're learning firsthand.
Yeah.
Getting things done on even a bigger scale.
Yeah.
Dealing with seamstress, dealing
yeah.
with people. That's
yeah.
amazing. And now, literally, you're running to all these new places and learning the ins and outs of so many things. It's so crazy.
Exactly.
It's so awesome.
I don't have, Dave, I didn't go to college or school or anything like that for this stuff. I was self-taught from a very young age with just about anything and everything that I've done in my life, and or self-taught. I learned through watching others and stuff like that, but I was really ignorant to the whole entire industry at first. I didn't really know the ins and outs. I didn't know the nitty-gritties. I didn't, I understood I could sit behind a machine with some fabric and I could make something, but like that's DIY at home level stuff. But I didn't understand the big picture of the actual fashion business and everything like that. And very quickly I began seeing it and getting exposed to it and learning, and it began making all the difference.
Wow.
Unfortunately, the internship that was turning into this, what was sold to us as a beautiful job, 6-figure salary, getting able to work, and possibly maybe even one day being able to live and operate out of that house. You guys run your own brands. You guys still do all your own stuff too. Just like, well, one day Steve and I show up to the place of work, and there's no cars in the driveway. All the locks on the house have changed. None of our keys work. Nobody's responded to our texts since the following week. Nobody's answering the phone calls. And in fact, we hadn't even received our first paycheck. They were telling us, well, at the 3-month mark, we'll give you guys a lump sum, a big paycheck.
Yeah. So you're grinding 3 months.
Yeah. And I'm getting there at 8 a.m. and I'm getting home at 9, 10 o'clock at night every day. Even weekends included. Everything. For 3 months straight, I doing it all. Occasionally, sure, I'd get a little $50 for the gas money or whatever it is, but like,
scraping by.
Wow. Having to make, so show up, everything's changed. Nobody's answering our texts. Nobody's responding to us. No money. And that's where Steve and I really realized, welcome to LA, bud.
Wow.
And welcome to the big city. Shit ain't sweet. This is mid-COVID, right? Only been out there a few months. And
wow.
Yeah. So then
So what looked like a lot of pot of golds at the end of the rainbow is now a stormy learning experience. Because you learned this running and getting things running and making things happen.
Yep.
And you found all these kind of new connects and these new ways to connect dots.
Yep.
So he kind of maybe in a weird way did you a weird favor that was designed as a what's going on here.
Yeah, look,
that's crazy.
I'm not gonna lie. Obviously, did us dirty, right? Of course. I mean, whatever it may be. But without that experience, without that understanding, that knowledge, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. I would have. I mean, it would have taken me years longer to understand and figure out the things that I learned. And there's a lot of painful but quick shortcuts. That I was able to learn through this experience.
Wow.
Right? Everything moved really fast with it, and right as we got in there, they just kind of threw us in the fire, right? And just said, okay, this is what we're making today. They'd hold up a design, figure it out, right? Go find all the materials, find all the supplies, give it to the seamstresses. Seamstresses might need your help making the patterns, we would have never really do much of the sewing or anything like that, but like cutting and things like that, right? Like we were very hands-on with it from start to finish. And we were doing a lot of like I would go to, it was a lot of leather work. So I would go to a lot of leather shops. I would go to, we'd go to a lot of designer stores like Louis Vuitton, and they'd give us big wads of cash in the day, and they'd say, all right, go over here and buy buy this and stuff like that. And so we'd go buy a bunch of Louis Vuitton stuff on Rodeo Street, and we'd come driving back up to the house, and they'd deconstruct it all and whip it into a new fancy sort of thing. And that we were doing a ton of that. So it felt so cool. It was such a wild experience, right? I'd never gone to a Louis Vuitton store in my life before then, like I'm a kid from Iowa, Dave.
Yeah.
Right?
Wow.
So it's, we did a lot of that, and that whole thing fizzled out, but it fizzled out for the best. We learned an immaculate amount, and about 2 weeks to a month after that internship, I'd say that internship fizzled out. We get an eviction letter on our door at the Santa Monica spot.
Wow.
So,
it's just like,
it was just one
what
thing
else
after
could go?
another.
Here it is.
Yeah.
Something else could go away.
Yeah. Can't catch a break, right? And I think right at that time,
you're getting tested right now.
Yeah.
That always happens. So a lot of my recent or whenever, I'm like, and I'm kind of like looking at these two doors, like something's crazy's happening. I'm like, is this happening to me or for me? And I'm like, is this a reason to stay?
Yeah.
And go harder, or is this telling me, Dave, turn the F back, and take a new path? Yeah. Most of the time, I go harder.
Yeah, baby. Baby.
So here you are.
Yeah.
So what do you do next? That's crazy.
Steve and I run a clothing drop where we collaborate our two brands and just try to push it to the fullest extent that we can.
Now you're hungrier than ever before.
Yeah. And so we
literally and physically.
Yeah. We take all the funds we can from there, and we start going around and finding. We had 2 weeks to get out of the spot. We were paying rent. We were sending it to the person we were subleasing it from, but they were stuck over in Egypt because of COVID, right? And so they're over in Egypt, living their best life, and just taking our Venmo money that we're sending them, and they're not sending it to, because they thought, they were like, oh, well, it's LA, you're gonna get like on rent lock, like things are
you could just sit around and
no one
mess with you because of COVID.
Exactly. Well, Santa Monica was a little bit different. Santa Monica has their own politics for the city of LA.
Yeah.
And then they let it be up to the building owners. And so the owners of the apartment building said no. And then also we found this out, you couldn't even sublease the apartments that we were at. So it was like a double no. And so
you do this drop.
Yeah, we do this drop. We got a little bit of money again. And we
online or pop up?
Online. We didn't know many people in LA, right?
And of course, is it still COVID?
Yep. So, we do an online release, push it as much as we can, get some money, and then we are looking at all these little spots. We can't live in Santa Monica anymore. We got to go to like East LA, East Hollywood area, a bit more of a grimy scene and stuff like that. And so, we're looking all around. We're checking out this 2-bed townhouse apartment thing in East Hollywood off Normandy Ave, and the price was okay, but it was still a little pushing it for both of us. And he's like, oh, well, I do have a 4-bed 4-bath that, yes, it's more expensive, but if you get 4 people in there, everybody's rent will be way cheaper.
Gotcha.
So he's like, we're like, okay, let's see it, So he's walking us over to it. We both get on our phones and start FaceTiming just about anybody and everybody that we know that wants, basically exactly what I did originally to get Steve out there. We just repeat the cycle.
Wow.
We start FaceTiming everybody that has kind of told us, oh man, I want to live out in LA too, right?
Wow.
And so luckily we had 2 people that actually, while we were viewing the spot, literally was like, yep, I'll take that room. I'm good to send you my deposit. Like I can move in next month.
Wow.
So we looked at the landlord, and his name was Bruce Lee.
Wow.
We look at Bruce and we're like, Bruce, we're going to do the 4-bed, 4-bath. All right, I'll prepare the paperwork and get it over to you guys. It's like on our second to last day of having to get out of that other apartment, make the move.
Woo.
And a couple days later, a week later, whatever, the other two guys come flying in. And now we've got a 4-bed, 4-bath in East Hollywood area. And Steve and I ended up living there for the next two plus years or so. And then that's where things really started to kind of begin moving in our direction, right? And begin moving in our favor, where we weren't getting screwed left and right anymore after that point.
Yeah, now you're... But I love it, though, because you came in hungry.
Yeah.
You found opportunities. They were just... They hit you different. They weren't
different.
exactly what you thought they were going to be, but you ran with it. You got the most out of it, even though it looked like it was taking you for all you're worth.
Yeah.
But you got so much out of it, and you learned how to connect these dots and make all this stuff happen.
Yeah.
And now you're more in control, picking your place, signing your own lease, and now you're getting your feet in the ground and you're building the soil.
Yep. It was wild.
So
ride.
you just have your brand at this point, and then
Yeah.
At what point do you say, like the moment where it's like, oh wow, we could help other people with it? Because now you got this brand.
Yeah.
We were talking about last night, Pier 17, which is an artist that's killing the game. Your team had that whole thing put together, and merch was selling out left and right, and that's not an easy task. So where does that transition? Because you're running the merch, your stuff, but then it's like, now you got this. You start the manufacturing.
So
what a journey, bro.
it was a wild journey.
That's amazing. I'm so proud of you, bro. To be able to,
Dave.
because a lot of people would take those things and maybe go, oh, all right, gotta go back home.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, I'm good.
I was to the point, Dave, where I looked at Steve and I said, Steve, I understand if you've got to go, but I'm willing. I'll be homeless. If I can't get a spot, I'm in my car.
Yeah.
But I'm not going back home. I'm not going back to Iowa. I know what I got to do. Well, hypothetically, I know what I got to do. I've got to stay out here. I got to keep grinding. But if it gets to the point, Steve, where, we can't find the spot in this next week or so, like, I'll be in my car. And Steve looked at me and said, well, I'll be parked behind you in my car.
That's real.
And so, yeah. And so, the hunger and the drive and the dream was there. And when you feel that dream, when you feel that hunger, when you know that this is all you've been wanting, all you have, like all you put it out on the line, and nothing matters other than getting to that point, following that dream, right? And look, in my head, it's not true at all. But in my head, I was like, if I go back to Iowa, I'm a damn failure. Everybody's gonna laugh at me. Everybody's gonna think my brand's a joke. Right? Those are the thoughts that are running through my head, and it's not. So the thought of me going back to Iowa is just okay. That's not acceptable.
Not even,
And I say that right, and it kind of sounds bad, like all I'm caring about is what other people are going to think about me. But it's deeper than that, because it's more of a self-reflection of, no, that's me who's going to think that. Yeah. That's me who's going to say that to me. That
exactly.
My friends back in Iowa, they probably don't care.
They move on quick. You're quick. The one who.
It'd be me, right? I'd be the guy tail into my life saying, damn, I do have some regrets. I do wish I did this. I do wish I could go out there and do that again, And so I wasn't willing to face that. I wasn't willing to accept that. And
it was an easy decision.
It was an easy decision.
Even though it felt maybe,
It was it was either, all right, we're gonna find a spot, or if not, we're in our car until we do. We'll make this work. We're gonna make this work. It's gonna be okay. If we got a car, we can DoorDash. We can Uber Eats. We can make some money.
When you know it's your dream, bro, that's how it's been with me. It was just, there was no other way.
It's nothing else.
At least in the career path.
Yeah.
Of like, this is what I'm choosing to invest my time in, to work.
Yes.
That drives me, that fuels me, that I also want to use to pay for my family's bills and my bills.
Yes.
If I have to suffer and be in the car and be cold a little bit. There's so many ramen noodle nights, bro.
Yes, all day long.
But I was literally reminiscing on my friend Jake's post earlier. He was talking about just being broke and different things like that, and it hit me because I was reminiscing on times when I was like in college, and people had to, when they bring the bill, like we'd be at Applebee's, and I'm like, I hope they say that we could pay for what I just bought.
Yes.
You know, and you're thinking like, damn, well, I only bought the mozzarella sticks and the burger and this, and it was only $25.
Yep.
But everyone got 7 drinks, and I'm like, I really hope I don't have to get pressured. Split. I hope I don't have to get pressured to pay for more. Yeah. And I remember those freaking. Yeah. And that was uncomfortable as shit.
Absolutely, man. Yeah.
But I was like, I'm gonna keep selling merch out the trunk.
That's what I want to do. I don't know what. Yeah. No, you're spot on. You're spot on. You know that it was really like that. We got I did. Whatever we could do to make $1, we were making $1. You know, we were figuring it out. We were just gonna make it work. You know, there was no ifs, ands, buts about it. We were just gonna make it work.
Amazing, man.
Yeah, and so what really made the transition, I guess, like to doing the manufacturing side of things and everything like that, was I had actually began, both Steven and I, we had actually began doing a lot of real in-person styling at this point. Since we're really cemented in LA, we can actually, and we're not doing this internship that's taking our whole, all of our days from us and stuff like that. We would really start reaching out and trying to get back into get into the community and get into the fashion industry there. Now we're kind of like East Hollywood area, so it's like I jump on the interstate, and we lived right underneath the interstate. Couple exits over, we're in Hollywood now. Like we're in the scene, or I go the other way, and I can get right downtown, and I can be in Fashion District, back in the scene, right. And so we end up spending a lot of time between Hollywood, downtown Melrose area, and just trying to networking with as many people as we can, connecting, hanging out. If I see this fashion influencer guy go to this store and hang out at this store, well, that's where I'm going to go. I'm going to hang out at that store because there's probably other people that are going to come to that store. And that's ended up kind of just building our network doing that. And
love it, man.
I was styling through Instagram. I got in contact with a lot of people from 1400. It's a music group under Trippie Redd. And so I was doing a lot of styling for the 1400 members, and just building relationships through there. And then they ended up, kind of opening the door for us to start getting to Trippie and everything like that. So we were doing a lot of styling for Trippie, and Trippie's DJ, Igor. Styling,
so for anyone who doesn't know, you're giving them your stuff, or you're connecting other brands as well with them?
So we would just give them our stuff.
Yeah.
We would just come in. Yeah. I'd come in with a whole duffel bag or clothing rack, and everything on there would be either my stuff or Steve's stuff.
Yeah.
Whether it said "Human Big and Proud" on it or anything like that, or maybe it was we just make some one-off designs.
You're taking kind of somewhat of a financial risk, almost like, hey, I'm gonna bring hundreds of dollars of stuff to give to these artists, and there's no
guarantee
sure of what's gonna happen, where they're gonna post it. Got you. Just painting it for any picture for any artist that is trying to get into merch, or even someone who's like, damn, I want some. Okay.
There's no guarantee.
So you're showing up,
right? We're just showing up.
Duffel bags of stuff. What do you like? Pretty much, or you're guiding them.
A little bit of both.
Gotcha.
But right, and so we would normally, like, at that point in time, every time we'd get to Tripp's house, there's 40 other dudes there that are all musicians. Somebody in there is gonna like something, right? Right. So, we ended up, opening up the bag. We'd set it all out on the tables and stuff like that. People would be walking, oh, that's sick. What's that? Oh, here you go. That's our stuff. It's our, human, tag it, show it, wear it, whatever. Most of the time you don't get the tag. I'm just letting you know. but you as the brand owner, you're able to find that photo and you're able to use it and you're able to capitalize on it by showing it to your audience and by showing it to your fans and friends and posting it out on your page, where when people come to your page, they can get more attracted to it because they see the big celebrity wearing it or whatnot.
Yeah.
So the DJ for Trip, his name's Igor, and Igor had a roommate at the time named Benji. And Benji and Igor started a hat brand. And they were liking all the stuff that we were bringing through. And this is kind of where Steve and I began to kind of put the pieces together, where it's like, because we hear them talking about wanting to start making their hats and stuff like that. And we also hear them talking about, oh, we like your hats, we like your clothes, we like all this stuff, right? So we just kind of try to offer the lending hand where it's like, hey, man, do you need help making your hats? Right?
Yeah.
And that's
clearly we got busy.
Yeah.
You know how we work.
Yeah.
You feel it right here.
Yeah. So that's, they looked at, they said, yeah, we do. And
that's the best when people see.
Yeah.
You don't even have to talk. Like, it clearly,
it's not.
They can feel it and see it.
Yeah.
The work is there.
Dave, at that point in time, Steve and I didn't even realize what we were doing.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we didn't even. I didn't put two and two together that we just started making the hats for.
Yeah.
You're coming for Igor and stuff like that,
to
right?
Connect and help. But also, I see.
So
that's real.
When push came to shove, I get the invoice on my side for how much it's going to cost to make the hats. I'm like, oh shit, Steve, like how you gonna do this? And it's like, what do you mean? We asked them. Yeah, you're right. Let's put a couple bucks on there. Hey, here it is.
Yeah.
Here it is, right? And yeah, sure enough. All right, guys, sounds good. They sent over the money. We start making the hats, right? And
then it clicks.
Steve and I looked up. We're like, oh, I get it. I think I get what we just did. That there's money here. There's real money here. And for Steve and I to try to go sell 100 shirts, that's a feat. That's a task. That's going to take us all month long just to push those shirts and everything like that. Well, one little transaction, we just did 600 hats. Whoa! We're moving some units now.
The B2B clicks. You started B2C, right?
Started B2C.
Just selling business to consumer or customer.
Yep.
And it's one. But here you are. You find people that have an audience, that have fans, that have the need and the hunger to support an artist they love, because the music, no one's buying anymore.
Yeah.
It's very rare.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I want Trippie Redd. I want to support him somehow, or his team.
Yeah.
I want a hat.
Oh, let me get a hat.
$20, $40. It's nothing.
Yeah. Exactly.
Boom.
So
and then now you find the B2C, B2B, helping another business.
Yep.
That has the need and has the want.
Yeah.
But doesn't have the sauce in that category.
Exactly.
And here you come.
Exactly.
That's real.
So
that's beautiful.
That's really what made us have that transition. And I do want to say one thing too, just in case she's listening. I did end up, so after this is going to be a few steps back. After my first that internship that went astray and went awry, there was one really good person out of that camp and out of that group, and she was a little standoffish at first because she didn't know what side Steve and I were on of this whole thing. Were we scammers too? Were we still with those guys and stuff like that?
Yeah.
And her name is Hayes, and Hayes ended up kind of putting Steve and I kind of under her wing again after the whole internship thing went awry. I guess she was like one of the muses, one of the creative directors, and I think a good investor as well to this person. And I think that person had also went and ripped off Hayes. And so Hayes ended up kind of putting me and also Steve into a position where we could begin working for her by doing the same thing. She said, okay, I'm not gonna have anybody else do that. I'm gonna do it, right? And so she went and got her own sewers and stuff like that. And so then she actually began paying us a little bit of money to go do what we were originally doing. And that's what's kind of what helped keep us afloat and for a little bit while we were trying to get the manufacturing side and our brands really up and running again. And
because it's hard to just sell merch on your own and pay two rents or a mortgage. So that's real. Just finding partnerships. Collaboration. If it's not even under you.
Yeah.
Like you know, we have similar paths, and of course different characters in our stories. But when I unlocked B2B, that changed everything.
Yeah.
When I found the ability to work under or with someone who maybe they got the credit almost. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But it's like their vision, their thing, but you're adding some stuff to the sauce.
Oh, yeah.
That was huge, too.
Yeah.
And here you are, shout out to her.
Yeah. Yeah.
So keeping the lights on.
Yeah. I
during
couldn't think of
during a transitional time.
Yeah. Yeah. And so when we did find the B2B move where we realized all these people that we're sending these care packages to with our clothes or going out and styling with our clothes and stuff like that, it's going to be it's not that hard of a transition for us to be able to flip it and say, hey, let's take a look at your merch. You don't got merch. Exactly. Yeah. Or yo man, why don't I ever see you wearing your own brand? You're always wearing our stuff. Oh, well, your stuff's sweet. Your stuff, the quality's there, the design's there, the print's there. Like, I love this stuff. Great. Do you want us to make this stuff for you? And they'd always,
you get this much more.
Yeah.
Instead of this.
Yeah.
So you're just getting free shirts now.
Yep.
What if you made?
If you let us take over and just start making these free merch, these free tees we give you, but put your name on it, put a design out there for you, or make a brand out there for you, and you can leverage your audience, right? You get the same quality, you can be wearing all the same stuff, but now you're also going to be selling it to lots more consumer base. You're going to be able to actually build a real brand. And Dave,
they're even more connected.
They're way more connected, man. And then they actually...
I want to buy as a kid, I want to buy Kid Cudi stuff more than the stuff that Kid Cudi's wearing.
Wear it. Yeah.
If I'm a kid.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Of course, the crossover influence, but think about how much like a Trippie Red could inspire someone to order a Champion hoodie. Or what if just seeing a green and blue Champion hoodie and they're like, oh, wow. I need that too, but it's even cooler when you have your own stuff too. So
exactly,
that's a beautiful thing. You connected those dots.
Thank you.
Shout out to that camp, and shout out to you for you got to have, as my dad would say, chutzpah. You got to be willing to have some bit of confidence in what you're doing. Yeah. Because some people freeze up when they're around famous people, or they get fanboyish, and they just want to take photos and get But it's like, nah, these people they want to share ideas. That's where they got to where they are. They went in these rooms. They were fearless. Yeah. They sat with a yay. They did it themselves. Little yachty or whatever, and they were just man to man, just talking about life and ideas, and they get inspired, and look where it goes. Exactly.
Exactly. It's actually funny that you kind of mentioned that part. Like, there'd be times where I would be with friends or peers where I get the message that said, hey, I need you to come style me, and I'd always have to carefully think about the approach that I'd take, because if I got a couple buddies with me right now and stuff like that, and I know they all want to go meet so and so, and they all want to do this stuff, but if I go there and any of them they start if I bring anybody with me after I get the invite, right, they're also representing me in a way and show through me, they showing character and stuff like that, right? So it's if they start doing anything that where it's on the fanboy thing, right as I get, oh, let's take some pictures, start going down that route, I got to start trying really carefully, right? And so it would always be a little touchy where it'd be no, I gotta go by myself, or I gotta go alone, or Steve and I are just gonna go out to do this one, guys, and at first I think also through being young and people not fully seeing it for what it was, people get upset. People would start feeling the type of way. Oh man, you never take us over there. Why can't I go to Trippie's house? All this stuff. It's well, man, because you act like this, and now if I open up the door for you and you go in there, it's not gonna go to plan. It's not gonna go how you want it to go. I know you want to show Trippie Redd your music so bad, but I promise you, like, this is not the environment. That's not the way that should go down.
Yeah.
You know, like, and so, but eventually, right, like towards the end of it, there were people coming with me, and like the people that played it cool and stuff like that. But it was all good. You know what I mean? But it just takes the building blocks, and it takes the time, takes the trust, takes the relationship building, you know, to really be able to cement yourself in there with people like that, to where, you know, okay, I could probably swing bringing a couple people with me today, right? But it's always touchy. It's always risky, right? And then, but when it works and everybody likes everybody, it's a great thing, because normally the people that I try to bring would be graphic designers or other, maybe some talented musicians as well that have a unique sound. What somebody in that room was also looking for, you know, and taking it almost like an A&R approach, where it's like, because I'm not just trying to go there. I'm not trying to just go be buddy. I'm trying to go there for business, because I need to make money. I need to level up. I need to get to the next step. I'm following my dream here. How can I keep growing? How can I keep building? Right. And so by this point in time, I am moving very strategically. I'm understanding the LA scene. I'm understanding the ins and outs of the fashion and music industry. I begin treading and moving with strategy and carefully, not carefully in the sense where I'm like walking on a tightrope or walking on eggshells, but I'm actually giving a lot of thought into the activities that I'm doing on a daily basis, the people I'm trying to spend my energy with, and stuff like that. Right? It begins moving in a lot more strategic pattern. But
intentional. You just want to.
Intentional.
You just want to bring value, and that's what I try to do everywhere I go, and God kind of just does the rest.
Amen.
Amen. I'm like, anywhere I go, I'm like, whoever I meet, I'm like, I could give, because I've seen this too. It's like, well, how could you give and give and give and be, you're gonna be you're selling yourself thin or whatever. And it's like, no, anyone you meet, you could give them a little something, even if it's a smile, even if it's telling them I believe in you, even though it's like, I'm proud of you.
Deep.
You know what I'm saying? Like
those last two, deep.
Yeah. So that's how I try to approach. I'm like, I don't have to give them 5 hours of my next day, but I could help them in that moment. If that's my only interaction. Yeah. It goes a long way. Yeah. And is it a guarantee I could do that every time? Definitely not. I don't put that pressure on myself. But no. I love that you do that. You're like, yo, I'm going to go here. I want to help him. Yeah. When you went there, they left and made even more money. And you did your thing too, and you fed your boy, and you got your boy this, and connected this guy with this, and he was able to help. And that's what it's all about, bro. It's like bringing that community aspect to the scene you're in. Yeah. It's just a beautiful thing.
Yeah, David.
It's beautiful.
It really is. Yeah.
I love how fearless you are, bro. The fact that you're just... Because a lot of people freeze up, and we have these things on our fingertip, but we could open up an app and be like we'll go down a rabbit hole and be like, oh, I didn't call anyone. Yep. But I love that you were like, wow, we need 2 roommates, and you literally went down your phone book. You called everyone. I love that. I feel like that's what I tell. And then I love that you would message tons of people and be like, yo, I'm ready to work. I literally tell all my friends that if they don't have work, I say message 50 people that you know, that you've worked with, that has either paid you in the past, you've collaborated with, you've been at their event, and tell them all that you're ready to work. Yep. Yeah. You will have work the next week. Yeah. You're and I've had my boy literally be like, yo, Dave, I wrote to 7 people. 2 of them had me at work. I did a logo and a commission the next week. I was like, because they're not thinking you're ready to work unless you tell them.
You got to let them know. Yeah. And in today's world, there's so many distractions. There's so much things that are out there. Everybody gets pulled left and right. You know, all day long, right? Where it's like, you know, you could be the most talented artist and provided the best work for somebody, but like, if they're not thinking of you then there at the time that they need that work, okay, well then you're not it, right? In one out the other, over the head, whatever. Like, you got to be able to put yourself in the position where you're showing the people, yo, I'm here, I'm ready, I'm hungry, I'm willing, I'm able, I'm capable, right? You have to be able to put yourself in that position. Nobody's gonna. If you're looking for somebody if you're looking for the magic DM, if you're looking for the magic email to come sliding your way, it's never gonna be there. It's never gonna be there. You're gonna have to go send that magic DM. You're gonna have to be the one that sends the outreach. Like, if you're just waiting on a dream and on a hope, right? If you're just praying that you get that email, you're praying that you're gonna get that text. It's very, very, very rare that it does. To really push and follow the dreams, you have to actively act on the dream. You have to take action over the dream. You can't just sit back and wait and look. I am a firm believer in manifesting. I manifested from the age that I was 9 years old that I'd live out in LA. But did I just sit back and wait for life to happen to get me to LA? Lord, no. I actively worked on getting to LA every year of my life, every new season in my life that I got to. That dream stayed consistent, right? And I worked towards making that stay consistent, making that be there, and then making that happen. And that, to me, that's following the dream. That's pushing the dream, right? That's you can't just sit there and wait for things to happen, because nothing's going to happen, and nothing changes if nothing changes.
Facts.
Nothing changes if nothing changes. You have to make the change, and a lot of times the change starts with you, right?
Facts.
Whether there be bad people in your life that are holding you down, right? Get rid of them. Whether it be, if it's financial stuff, okay, yes, that sucks, but do you have a car? If you do, we can do Uber. If not, okay, are you in a city? Do you have a scooter or a bike? Okay, cool. We can do Uber Eats. We can do DoorDash, right? And I know nobody that's really being an active, like I see this all the time out in LA with aspiring musicians and hip hop artists and stuff like that, where it's like, I can't go do that. It's going to pull me away from my artistic ability. Yeah, you know what's really going to pull you away from your artistic ability is an eviction letter on your door that you're about to face because you don't have this month's rent. That's what's going to pull you away from your dream, where you're going to have to get sent back home, right? That's what's going to happen. That's not going to motivate you to want to do this more, right? Like, if that was the case, you would already feel that motivation right now, to where you realize, oh shit, I got to survive again, right? Like, that's the real push that I see, that we all need to continuously make our dreams come true, and continue to be able to follow our dreams and everything. That's
so real, brother.
Yeah.
So, because I think a lot of people get to the point too where you're creative, and then your cup kind of is getting to the point where, like, I got all these gigs. I got now these new clients. I got all the. I'm teaching here. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. My cup is overflowing right now.
Yeah.
Right. You get to a point of that, and then you're like, damn, I'm feeling overwhelmed. There's a lot going on. So you got a lot going on. Shout out to you and your team. I was just at the Mike show last night, Pier 17. It was a moment. It was beautiful. And you guys didn't just bring the merch that you brought from the Boston show or the Toronto show.
We made all brand new merchandise just for that show.
Your crew had merch just for that show, and I know as someone who makes different merch for different people in different colors, I could feel overwhelmed. Shout out to you all for that, because I felt the essence. I love the vibe. I like the light up sign. I literally felt like I was in a saloon.
Yeah.
The billiard tablecloth. Like, you guys really covered the details. You. It was beautiful. I'm very proud. Just seeing that, I showed my girl. I was like, yo, check this. This is so sick. But, you're working with an artist. It's so crazy that more people don't know who he is, but 1 million people in the world do, and he's selling out arenas or like
Yeah,
4,000 people spots on his own.
Oh, yeah.
Not charging no locals to open for him just so they could fill the room for him. This guy, so here you are working with Mike, doing complicated drops every city.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dozens of boxes of stuff.
Yeah.
And I saw stuff selling out. So that was beautiful. Seeing last night and you guys in motion.
Thank you. You know, Dave, I want to, a couple things. We actually had 3 pallets of merchandise there last night. So about 125 boxes.
A pallet is
a pallet is a 48 by 48 wood frame that gets stacked up with boxes.
Gotcha.
And we throw it in the back of semi-trucks, and we get semi-trucks that give us basically guaranteed deliveries other than acts of God, right? If, You know, snowstorm happens in the middle going through Colorado. Nothing you can do about that. But so, yeah, we did all the logistic mapping to make sure that those 3 pallets could arrive there. And then there were actually 2 merchandise booths set up. We had one merchandise booth there on floor 3, and then we also had another one out front of the venue, just selling outside, that had its own signs, had its own sort of stuff like that. And you know, the Mike community crowd, and I mean, he calls them all Steves. They are phenomenal people. And Dave, we don't, you know, our network, since currently we have three artists right now that we do merchandising for that are all on their own tours right now. So not only did I have to make sure that all the pallets for Mike's show yesterday and today arrived, but I also had to make sure that we had all the merchandise arrive in Alabama State University, where we have another one of our artists that has a big tour going on right now and had a big college show. I had to make sure all those arrived. And then I had to make sure that yesterday I had to throw everything to get into production for another artist that we work for, a big New York artist, Action Bronson. He's about to gear up to go do a Dallas, Texas show on the 31st. I had to get all of his merchandise produced. That way we can make the delivery by the 31st.
Let's go.
all at the same time. So it's the scale at what we're able to do now is it's mind blowing to me. 3-4 years ago, when I was first kind of really breaking into this side of the industry and the real manufacturing and tour logistics and all that stuff, at first I always said, kind of jokingly, we don't, I don't know what I'm doing, but I know what I'm doing, right? Yeah. I do not feel the ability to say that anymore, because I know for a fact I know what I'm doing, and I know how to do this, and I know what this takes. We're able to do this on a really large scale with honestly a very small team. I've just recently, so there's 3 internal admin people, and then I've just recently brought on about 3 more people within the last 4 months. So it's been primarily just myself, Steven, and Brett just really running this thing and just figuring it out, right? And now we're to the point where we're starting to actually scale out the internal company, and our roster is actually getting. We're building out a real roster now of major performing artists and a lot of like creators, a lot of social media personalities. We're getting a lot of those type of people onto our roster right now, and building out their e-com stores and doing all the merchandise for them, and just getting it's A to Z. So it starts with the initial call to understand their ideas. And I want to preface this. Earlier we were talking about how it's just providing value and it's just providing help, and that's exactly what we do. We don't sell. Like, when I say we don't sell, we're not like a car salesman, right? Like
yeah.
We don't.
Of course.
We really only look at it as we're problem solvers. We're solution experts, right? You've got a problem with your merchandise, or you got a problem in this side of the industry or that side of the industry. Ask. Let's not look at the problem. Let's look at the solutions to the problem, focusing on what's the best one, and figure out how to solve the problem, right? And so, and quite frankly, there's a lot of merchandise companies and a lot of record stuff, and the music industry and the fashion industry are both very messy industries. There's a lot of problems that happen to a lot of different people inside of both industries, and it actually ends up making my life easier because I'm pretty good at solving these people's problems. I did them at a high level for these leather people and for these these big shops, and then was tested. I did our first tour about 3 years ago. Was the first time we went on tour, and it was the NBA leather tour. It was Action Bronson, The Alchemist, Boldy James, Earl Sweatshirt.
Doing merch for all of them.
We were doing
for the tour.
The tour.
Gotcha.
The only person that had their own covered was Earl, and he's in a merchandise deal where at that time was with Warner. So we weren't touching that, but I'm actually thankful for that because they sent somebody on the road to go in his bus and everything like that with him, his merchandise seller, and the guy that was doing all his stuff, and his name was Thaddeus. And Thaddeus showed us kind of, at first he was, look, Dave, nobody wants new guys in the industry, right? It's cutthroat industry. You got to earn your stripes. You got to earn your spot. And if you ain't gonna earn your spot and stripes, nobody wants you here. And so at first he was real standoffish, real little help, everything like that. But as he kind of began to understand that, oh no, these guys are actually, they're hungry. These guys are going to be killers and whatnot. He began kind of really helping us out. Told us this is going to be the smallest thing ever, but I'm going to say smalls to the walls, mediums to me, large to the left, XL to the right, 2X in the base and 3X in the base. That's how you set up a merchandise box to sell merchandise behind a booth. It took us 2 shows to learn that. We were walking in and throwing out a stack of smalls on the table and a stack of mediums on the table. Well, I could only fit 3 different styles on this table, and now I'm out of space, so I got 10 other styles. What do I do? So it's like, right, all these real little things that like you only learn from doing it in the industry and stuff like that. Like, he ended up kind of helping us kind of see that stuff and learn that stuff, and that really helped us while we were on the road. And it was the NBA Leather, it was about 40 days straight on the road. We got a call 2 weeks before the tour started.
Wow.
And was, hey, you guys do tour, right? Yep. Yeah, we do. I'm not going to say no to it.
Thousands of shirts.
Thousands and thousands of shirts. They need us to throw it all in the back of our Sprinter van, and they need us to follow and go to every single show. Right? And
you're not just giving it to Action.
No,
you're there.
No, we're there. We're the ones setting up the booths.
Show.
We're the ones selling behind the booth. Last night,
collecting the payments.
Yeah, collecting the payments.
Credit card.
Going backstage at the end of the night and saying, "Here, sir, here's your money." You know, and then shut my mouth, jumping in my car, and driving to the next city. Right, like that. It was that 40 days straight, and that's I like to think we earned some damn stripes on that tour. It was a lot of fun, tons of learning happening, but it was, I mean, every night we're getting our asses kicked, just figuring figuring this out, right? And towards the end of the tour, we actually hit. We did. Everybody's believe it or not, the person that put on the tour was, or helped originally plan the tour, was Beyonce's tour manager. And she still was kind of in the loop with everything that was going on in the tour, but I think she was on with another one of her artists on her own tour and stuff like that. She had just kind of helped put it all together. And at the end of the tour, we're getting phone calls. It's like, yo, what the hell you boys do? Like, this is, you guys hit crazy merchandise sales. You guys did crazy numbers. Everybody under the sun thought that 2 weeks in, this whole thing was going to blow up. Like, what the hell you boys do? How'd you guys get this done? How'd you do it? And
it was just shirts, or was it hats?
Everything.
Hoodies,
vinyls, shirts, hats.
Vinyls?
The vinyls are pre-made.
Gotcha.
Pre-made, but you still, still transport, logistics, selling, getting rid of them, all that stuff. Like,
Yeah, because you order freaking the wrong amount of hoodies. Where do they go?
Where do they go?
Yeah. So
what are you gonna do?
that's crazy. Wow.
But it was.
What a moment.
Yeah, and right around that point is where I realized, like, really realized, okay, we're in the industry now. We're earning some stripes. We can make it. We can really make a name for ourselves here, and that's where we just kind of we went really, really all in on Limitless. Nothing else mattered at that point, and it's like, all right, we get what we're doing. We see what we're doing. We see the impact that we actually can make. Not only the impact that it has on us as individuals and as people that have always dreamed and aspired of. I've never been musically inclined, but I've always wanted to work in music. I've always loved, my passion and my love is fashion, and I get to do both, right? I'm doing fashion for musicians and getting able to live this lifestyle where I'm able to travel, go to these shows. I'm able to see these cool people, be inside of a studio, all of this stuff. But I don't got to make music, and I'm not good at making music.
Yeah, wow.
Like,
it's amazing. Good for you, man.
Yeah. This has been, it's been a dream and a long time, coming and working towards it. It's been remarkable. It's been remarkable.
I'm just so inspired, man. Just 2 weeks alone is motivation to be able to be like, okay. You just never said, when it came to your dream, you just didn't say no. You found a way to say, yeah, you made the yes.
Yes.
That's so crazy. It's amazing.
And sometimes it comes back and bites me, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes I say yes to things that are too big to chew. And this has been a learning lesson that I've been going through for about the last 2 years now. I've been getting a lot better at it. I've been getting a lot better at knowing what I can and can't handle. And also, there'll be times where I'll say, give me 4 days. In the past, on something where I would say, give me 4 days, I now understand, give me 6 days. And if I have it done in the 4 days that I originally planned to do, great. I look amazing in front of my client, in front of my audience, whatever it is. But if it takes me 6 days, it's the end of the world for me, Dave. And it's the end of the world for my client and for everybody, right? So, just through the act of doing and the act of just pursuing, I've been able to figure out these things that help, and I understand time, and I understand that my time and the importance of like being able to cultivate and curate something for somebody, and the importance of their time, and oh shoot, but they have a show on this day, and then they're going to go on tour on this day, but then they're going to be out of town on this day, but I need to get it to them in between this show and this time that they're going out of town, right? Like, how do we get this all done? And just there's so much logistics that go into one t-shirt or one hat. I shouldn't really be saying this, but I took an emergency red eye to come to New York to deliver basically 15 t-shirts because I already had one shipment in UPS. Last week I had about 24 boxes from UPS that didn't land for different shows. That's my ass because each assuming one box has 25 hoodies in it and you sell each hoodie for $80 to $60 to $100 depending on the artist of the show or whatever, like that money means a lot to a lot of different people, right? And so like if I got boxes that don't show up, that's my ass. The liability is not on me, it's on UPS or whatever, but like nobody's gonna call UPS and sit on the robot that talks to you for 5 minutes and yell at that, right? You call me. It's and I do start feeling a type of way about it, and like dang, you're right. I wish there was something I could do about that. I should have done it a week beforehand, so that way I had ample time, even if there was a delay on the ship, right? Like that's the head process. I wasn't risking this dang UPS package. I got a flight. I flew it in, did the delivery on the morning, yesterday morning, made the delivery, and zipped my mouth and just here we go, got it done.
Yeah.
You know, made it happen. That's the story of all of it. It's just whatever you can do to make it happen, whatever you can do to follow your dream. It's gonna suck sometimes. It just is.
Yeah.
It just is. It's not always glitz and glam and gold, right? No, it's pain. It's eating mud. It's scraping your knee. It's breaking your leg. But wanting to lose your mind, like feeling like you lose your mind, right? But you need something that'll keep you grounded. You need something that'll keep you touching your roots. So that way, when you do get into those points in time and you do find yourself in really tough positions, you're able to get grounded real quick, be able to have level head, and look at the solution to the problem that you're facing. Just all that matters at that point is the solution, right? And because if you can solve that problem, you're one step closer to your dream.
Yeah.
But if you let that problem overcome you, or you don't go push past that problem, and maybe you think you can take a detour around, you're gonna have 3 more problems that are gonna pop up because you didn't solve this one problem, right? And if you think you can take a shortcut to solving your dream or figuring out, accomplishing your dream, and also that's one thing. I don't think that you can really accomplish a dream. I think a dream just continues to build and grow as you continue to build and grow throughout your life and everything. But you can't take a detour. You can't throw, sure you can throw an audible, but you better hope that the play works, right? But you take the detour, man. That's where things can really start going sour. More problems will start arising, right? If you're faced with a problem, you got to face and just, it's gonna suck, but face the problem head on.
Yep.
Rip it off like a Band-Aid. Do it.
Yeah.
Get it done.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's and I think that's made a difference in my life.
Bro, just amazing to hear your story. And it just, you keep writing pages in the book, and your unwillingness to deal with hurdles, and you're just like, I'm good. I'm gonna figure it out. It's not stopping me. Broken leg, merch locked up somewhere overseas, wherever it is, or eviction notice, seamstress flying the coop, or whatever it is, or whatever it is.
Yeah, dude.
Bro, I'm just so inspired hearing your relentlessness.
Thank you, man.
Just cutting through.
Thank you, Dave.
Because I know there were so many reasons where you could have turned around, but like, Iowa's not bad. I love it. It's my hometown. Love it. But bro, when you have the dream, it's just so good to talk to someone who knows the dream. Yeah. And there's no other way.
When you really, Dave, when you really find that dream and you feel that dream, there's a fire under you, right?
Yeah.
When you start, and you know when you start going in the wrong direction. You feel it when you start going in the wrong direction, and you know that you're not following your dream, or you're not staying true to your dream or to yourself or what it is. Like, you feel it. There's countless times in my life where I've wanted to give up, and where I spend a few weeks in that mode where it's like, and like, oh, I don't want to do that. But as a dreamer and as go-getters and stuff, you sit there for a little bit and you realize something's wrong, and a lot of other things in your life at that point start probably going wrong, right? Whether it be your health, your mental or physical health, whether it be like just you start seeing signs in the world that things aren't going your way, and you're wondering why. You're wondering what it is. Well, you're not staying true to yourself now. You're not following your purpose and your dream now. A lot of people are like, "What's my purpose? What's my purpose?" I don't know how to answer that question for anybody, but I know for me, my purpose is to follow my dream, and is to accomplish my dream, quote unquote. It's never going to accomplish. The goal is always going to move. The finish line's never the real finish line, right? There's it's just the nature of the beast, right? But as you're able to, like you said, check those off, or I think Mike's got a line. Turn a bucket list to a checklist, right? As you're able to check those things off of your list, and right, that's what, looking at it in hindsight, right, where you're able to have the bird's eye view. Because when you're in it and you're in the thick of it, you don't realize you don't see the good for it right away until it's done and over with. We're able to look at it from a bird's eye view and from a different perspective, like, oh shit, we did that, Dave. Yep. Oh shit, we got that done, man. Yep. You know, and then that's what it feels good and exciting, and you realize you are on the right path and you're doing the right thing, and you're checking these things off your list. But in the thick of it, you're never going to see it that way, and then when you do start straying the other direction, you're going to know it. Your life's going to start going array. Things are going to start going south for you. You're not going to start feeling right. All you got to do at that point is make an adjustment, get grounded again, realize what the dream is and the steps the solutions and the steps that you need to do to get yourself back on track to following it.
I love it, man. So for anyone that wants to connect with you, follow your story, connect with everything you got going on, where could people connect with you? I'm gonna drop it in the bio and descriptions and all that too. But
I got Instagram. It's just Miller McCoy. I got two last names for my name. It's Miller and McCoy. And then I got the company is Limitless MFG. You can find me online at themillermccoy.com or limitlessmanufacturinggroup.com. That's and Dave, I appreciate your time.
Brother.
I appreciate the conversation.
You're always welcome back.
It's been
my guy time. Literally squeezed in time through these mic shows. There's one in like a few hours. It's crazy. So brother, you're always welcome back. I'm so happy this is your first stop in Staten Island.
Yeah, man.
And thank you for anyone who stayed with us to the very end. You're a real one, and everyone tuned in. Thank you. I'm so Type 88. We're going on our 8th year next year. I'm really hype. It's been an amazing year so far, and our guy right here from Iowa, just showing you that you could turn your dreams into reality.